Look at my. Yeah, guys, look at me. Look how dumb I look holding the camera. Yeah.
I used to care a lot about what people thought about me. Pretty sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. And that just stems from being too insecure about yourself, which isn't a bad thing. Everybody's insecure at some point in their lives. This is definitely an original video idea. It's not like 50 other YouTubers have done this shit. You can always come back to this video at any time so that if you need it as a reminder, I'm here, what's good? In my last video where I talk about why I enjoy being alone, I talk about how in elementary school, I always tried to fit in with the cool kids. It's not like elementary school clout really matters, but at that time it did. And because I tried too hard, most of the time I got shunned. It wasn't until middle school was when I really started to get that I don't really give a shit about anybody or what they think about me vibe. This is when I started YouTube and actually managed to get my first couple set of friends. For some reason, just having 12 subscribers on my channel just made me have the ego of a fucking NBA superstar or some shit. Cause I just knew in the future I would be one of the biggest YouTubers or one of the greatest YouTubers. I mean, that hasn't happened yet, but I would at least be somewhere on YouTube. Obviously not everybody can relate to it, but I just had so much belief in myself and so much passion into what I was doing to the point where I kind of just zoned everybody out and I was just focused on my own shit. When you're really focused on yourself, you naturally just start to build a confidence. People are just secondary to your life. And as bad as that sounds, you're gonna come first in your life majority of the time. If I cared about what people thought about me, I wouldn't be where I am today with my main channel or even have started this channel. Once you start zoning into a passion or zoning into really wanting shit for yourself, you'll naturally just not give a fuck about what people think about you. Rich people don't give a shit about what other people think about them because if they did, they wouldn't be rich. Caring about what other people think is a broke person's mindset. And this carried on all the way till my senior year of high school. But this all fell when I entered my freshman year of college. If you watch my body transformation video, you would know that when I entered college, I got mad insecure because it was a new environment. All of my older friends in high school were moving on to other things, going to different colleges, and I was kind of left starting from ground zero. So my confidence of having friends or having a familiar area to be around completely just dipped. I started to get in this lack scarcity mindset of caring about what people thought about me. Felt like elementary school all over again. I became a little bit more self-conscious in college and each year it just kept on progressing. During this time, it made me become a yes man. I would always be nice. I would always agree to a lot of things because I cared about what people would thought if I simply said no. It got way worse in my sophomore year of college when my YouTube started to get some more buzz. I started to really understand my place on YouTube in terms of my main channel. The majority of the content on my main channel usually gears towards comedy and entertainment. There's nothing bad about making funny videos or making videos to make people laugh. Do what makes you happy. I personally started to hate making funny content because I started to think that people wouldn't take me seriously as a person, creative or entrepreneur because my content on my main channel just wasn't serious content. And this led me to resent doing YouTube and just hate myself altogether. I started to think that the world was against me because when I really wanted to start making more, I wouldn't say woke or conscious videos or just more big brain videos, I don't know. it wasn't really received well on my main channel because they were so used to kind of just seeing funny stuff. And I started to think, damn, people really don't fuck with me for me when obviously it just wasn't what people subscribe for. So I started to kind of just hate myself and second guess a lot of my actions. And I even cared so much about what people thought about me to the point where I started to hate people that made the same type of content as me on my main channel, which was such a bad headspace to be in because I ultimately became a fucking hater. Haters are people that see themselves in you but hate the fact that you became successful off of that and they didn't. And that's mainly because they didn't put in the work but you put in the work. They're envious of the things that you have and want to bring you down. This ultimately just led me into kind of like a shitty headspace for a little bit, but what really helped me turn myself around was when I was in a call with Sneeko. I remember talking to him earlier this year about YouTube tips and just how I could advance my channel because I knew myself that I wasn't headed down the right path. And Sneeko was just telling me how I should stop caring about what people thought about me and that he missed the chubby and funny Soloin that did whatever the f he wanted to do and didn't care about what people think about him or thought about him. Sorry, my English is shit. And when he said that shit, I'm not gonna lie, it struck a nerve. I was low-key kind of mad. Not even just mad at him, just mad at myself because I was like, how the f did I let myself get down to the point where I started to care about what niggas thought about me? Like, I literally wouldn't have had 200, 300K subs if I cared about what people thought. So why do I care now? It really made me put myself into perspective. When I was just being myself and doing what pleased me, I naturally started to care less about what people thought about me. And it was easier for people with the same same like mindset to come into my life and gravitate towards me. When I did care about what people thought about me, it made me start cutting off ties for no reason and ultimately losing the good connections I have had and the good friends that I made. I don't know why, but what Sneeko said in that call has just stuck in my mind ever since. Like, that shit is literally still just breathing in my head, and this man doesn't even know. Like, it sounds weird as shit, but it's like sometimes people can say shit to you and they'll never know that that thing that they said impacted you for the rest of your life. And hell, they probably might have even forgot that they've said that to you. Yeah, I don't know, psychology. I used to have a lot of judgy friends in high school, sometimes even in college, which is kind of funny because you would think that people would mature in college, but nah. Ultimately, I had to cut some of them off because if people are judging you, why should they be in your life? People gotta respect the decisions you make. Even if they don't respect it, at least give you constructive criticism rather than just judging you blindly. I remember in my spiritual video, there was a kid that commented saying that I was whitewashed because of the way that I spoke and the points that I made in the video. And I guess that struck a nerve with him because I said in the video that black people aren't the chosen one and everybody is equal. And I'm pretty much dumb for thinking that we aren't the chosen people. And at first, I was just like, bro, what are you talking about? Nobody's the chosen person. It don't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, you're not chosen. But in my head, I just thought to myself, like, you really have to have a narrow, one-sided black and white mindset to really think like that. Because if you're so worried about the tonation of my voice and one specific point, that says a lot about you. And I don't even gotta know you. Instead of trying to have an open mind and taking each and every point and putting to your own final conclusion, you say that I'm whitewashed and I'm going against my own race because I'm being open-minded. Alright, that's one of the things that really made me stop giving a shit anymore recently because it just shows how dumb some people can be. And I'm not saying he's dumb, he might just not understand fully and he's been through different shit in life that makes him think like that. What ultimately led to me not caring about what anybody thinks about me is just knowing that one day we're all just gonna die. I'm playing. That's just morbid. I know it sounds very morbid, okay? Eventually, everything we're going to do is going to get forgotten. Whether it's 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 300 years from now. If we're not going to be remembered at the end of the day, depending on what we do with our lives, why should we give a fuck? Nobody in this time period is going to care. Maybe people in the future will, but you'd have to do something very significant to be remembered in the future. And even then, not everybody's going to know the details of your life. So that's a more reason to try to make the best of your life. Do what you want to do what you can do, and focus on you. Stop caring about what the next man or woman is doing, because what they're doing with their life does not concern you. We all have our own movie sets to life. Life is quite literally a movie. Movies wouldn't exist if life didn't exist. Movies are based off of life. You should be so focused on yourself, you won't have time to even think about what people care about you because you're focused on trying to live your best life. Another thing is that people care more about themselves than they care about you. And it's common sense, but you really gotta deep it. We're all self-conscious and have our own struggles, insecurities, and problems. So naturally, we're not gonna be focused on what the next man is doing all the time because we're just trying to fix whatever the hell is going on in our lives. When was the last time you remembered what a random person at the mall was wearing? You can't. You can't remember. And if you do remember, that's kind of weird because why are you so fixated on somebody's life that doesn't concern you? Like, bro, I don't even remember what my dad was wearing a couple hours ago and we live in the same damn house. And it's not that I wasn't paying attention to him as a person, but it's just I'm not gonna care too deep into what he's wearing, what he looks like, or just anything about him because I'm focused on my own life and I respect my dad for just being my dad. Why should I care about anything else? It's all a mindset thing. It's a psychological thing. Once you let the restraints go, you're gonna be free. Stop thinking people are out to get you. Are you out to get anybody out there? Okay, that answers your question. Nobody's out to get you. No one's perfect. Everybody's done bad shit. Everybody's born with birth defects, flaws, emotional problems, mental problems, whatever. So they have no right or opinion to judge you when nobody in this world is a peak human performance human being. And if you are, then congratulations, you're probably God. I want you guys to be your best selves, and that's the motto of my brand, ABRANT. Because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna be a better person than you, and nobody's going to live your life for you. We're all gonna die, so live for yourself. Don't be selfish, but live for yourself. Try to strive for the best quality of life. Strive for power, money, good friends, good relations, good experiences. I want all of you guys to prosper and I want myself to prosper. And that's just the message of my brand. And if you want to support me, the brand, and spread a good message, cop from ABRANT. At least you'll be rocking a corny message with style.